Two Russian airstrikes targeted oil depots in Zhytomyr and Chernyahiv village, no casualties. At POTUS held a secure video call today with President Macron, Chancellor Scholz, and Prime Minister Johnson. The leaders affirmed their determination to continue raising the costs on Russia for its unprovoked and unjustified invasion of Ukraine. Shelling targeting Lysychansk. Residential building targeted today in Zabukia. Explosion in north of the Zhytomyr. Mykolaiv governor, 8 Ukrainian soldiers were killed in a Russian airstrike today. In Staromaersk, Russian army take away people's food, fuel and equipment. Destroyed Russian APC in Vasilivka, Zaporizhzhia region.
Итак, ребята, видео. Перекресток, улица Соборная, улица Кирова, бывшая. Вот смотрите, что у нас тут происходит. Смотрите, вот, не разорвавшийся снаряд. Вот у меня в руке, вот 7,62. Ёпта, а вот тут вообще жесть. Вот он. Вчера мы видели и слышали, как стрелял, блядь, боекомплект с вот этой вот, блядь, всей ебучей техникой. Хотя, сука, ни на что не наступить, никуда не въебало. Тут везде разорванные, развороченные, все снаряды лежат. Ебануться, блядь. Вот поршень, блядь, ёб какой-то, что за хуйня. Ебать. Уже вон наши успели написать. Путин пидор на борту. Красавцы, молодцы, бля. Все пули, снаряды, хуяды, тут пизда шо. Боекомплект летел жестко, бля. Ебать. О, что это такое? Тут хер его знает. Платы какие-то. Срань. Вот вид изнутри, блядь. Вот это что она? БМП-ха, походу. Что-то такое типа БМП. Что-то так, сука, опять где-то летит, бля. Пиздец. Просто пиздец.
The Ukrainian negotiating delegation, the third round of negotiations with Russia did not produce results that could improve the situation. Ukrainian delegation, some positive movements on logistics of humanitarian corridors after talks with Russia in Belarus. Kyiv 1950. Red alert, aerial threat. Sirens sounding. Take cover now. The European Commission is drawing up a fourth EU sanctions package on Russia. On the table is various options such as a ban on maritime traffic, more banks under SWIFT, though not Sberbank apparently, coal, oil and more oligarchs to be listed. A shell crater in Krasnosilka near Odessa. NATO Deputy Secretary General at NATO, at Marcia_Gioana, on the war in Ukraine, we have thousands of troops from Europe and the United States. It's an unprecedented reinforcement on the eastern flank.
Okay. Merci à Johanna. L'OTAN muscle aussi ces derniers jours ses forces dans l'est de l'Europe, à ses frontières. Combien d'hommes aujourd'hui sont mobilisés? Combien il y a eu de renforts et dans combien de pays sur le flanc est de l'Europe?
Bon, on a vu hier la ministre des Armées, Madame Flan.
Putin is creating a flow of refugees, but no indications he is weaponizing those refugee flows like Belarus did earlier, per senior U.S. defense official. No indication Russia preparing to move battalion tactical groups from elsewhere to shore up what they've put into Ukraine, per senior U.S. defense official. 500 additional U.S. troops being sent to Europe, per senior U.S. defense official. Includes refueling personnel, brings total 100,000 U.S. military personnel stationed and or deployed to Europe, per the official. U.S. assesses Russia. Mr. Putin has committed nearly 100% of his pre-staged combat power to Ukraine, per senior U.S. defense official. Russia's also launched +625 missiles, most are medium and short-range surface-to-air missiles and cruise missiles, per official. SOCOM MC-130J Commando 209-5713 departed 31st Tactical Air Base Poland. Russian Su-30 reportedly shot down near Popasna. Melitopol Mayor Ivan Fedorov said that the Russian troops seized the city TV tower and radio tower and broadcasting own propaganda now. A U.S. official, we do not have a ready number of F-16 fighters to be delivered to countries that may supply fighter jets to Ukraine. Russian fuel convoy ambushed and destroyed by Ukrainian troops near Priluki east of Kyiv.
Колісники. Сука. Скільки? Раз, два, три, чотири, п'ять, шість. І соляри повно. Рюкзач. Качать, розбирать. Підари.
Ukrainian war journalist Viktor Duder was killed during battles against Russian invaders near Mykolaiv, said Anton Heroshenko, an advisor to the head of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. "13 dead, 5 rescued at Makarov bakery in Russian airstrike. Fire reported in the area of Lavina Mall near Kyiv. Russian shelling targeted Old Church in Zavorichi village of Kyiv region.
Попали нам у церкву. Бля. Пацани, не лізьте туди. Уже все. Нема в Заворчах церкви вже.
A large truck has crashed through the gates of the Russian embassy in South Dublin. One man has been arrested.
Hey! Hey!
New round of talks between Russia and Ukraine to start shortly in Belarus, aide to head of Presidential Office of Ukraine Podolyak. Russian army abandoned Sam Panzer in Mykolaiv.
Третий панцирник за 10 дней войны уничтожили. Тоже был обстрелян. Сюда доехал и все. Все закончилось для него. Сейчас мы его уничтожим.
EU ambassadors are now discussing the EU accession application by Ukraine, Georgia and Moldova. It will likely end with the AMs asking the European Commission on an assessment of the trio. Residential apartments block is on fire at Krasnodarska Street in Kharkiv after shelling. Abandoned Russian army military vehicles after clashes today in Mariupol. German Chancellor Scholz says EU energy needs can't be secured without Russian imports, no plans to suspend them. Tokmak, Zaporizhia Oblast, protest against Russian occupation.
Вот пидорасы, расисты. Захватили крыши, снайпера русские, стоят, блядь, по мирным уёбки, блядь.
Explosion audible in Kharkiv, Saltovka, Odeska Street. 1540, Minsk time, 2 Mi-8 and Mi-26 helicopters took off from Machulishchi, flying southeast. Russian army shelling residential district Balabanovka in Mykolaiv.
Ёбанатый в рот, сука, Балабановку нахуй сносят. Пидоры прям по жилым домам хуярят. Пристреливаются. Хуя с два они пристреливаются. Пиздец.
Demonstration in Skadovsk in support of Ukraine. Civil defense in Dokuchesky of Kharkiv region removing unexploded ordnance. Mykolaiv International Airport has been cleared of Russian troops, head of regional administration. Warning: this event contains graphic media, scenes of explicit violence or gore. Is intended for mature audiences. Russian army column ambushed in Luhansk region.
Вот такая колонна техники противника. Давайте быстро оружие, все забираем. Пулеметы, автоматы, гранатометы, все нахуй. Вон пулемет валяется, заберите пулемет. Вон. Блядь, вон, сука. Боги нахуй. Даже, блядь. Пидорасів нахуй. Там розбита вся колона. Він все розпіздований нахуй. Не видно, що там були люди нахуй. РПГ, установка ПТР, нахуй. ДШК ТК. АГС.
Aerial bombardment now targeting Derevyanko Street, Pavlov Pole in Kharkiv. Based on this new wreckage, jet taken down yesterday over Kharkiv identified as Su-34 fullback fighter bomber. One crew member was captured. Consequences of the airstrike near the Heroes of the Heavenly 100 Square in Kharkiv. Shelling with mortars targeting Avdiivka. 4 killed, 15 wounded as result of shelling on Hazar supermarket at Academic Volter Street in Kharkiv yesterday. Russian supply convoy ambushed in Kharkiv region.
Тобі, блін, війна, матушка. Соляра горить. Соляра тече. Довоювалися.
No one was injured in the attack on the seaport of Olvia. Russian Navy Project 22160 patrol ship Vasily Bykov reportedly targeted in Grad shelling in Black Sea last night. Blinken says NATO looking at more permanent deployments in the Baltics. We're continuously reviewing within NATO our defense posture, including questions of extending the deployment of forces, looking at questions of more permanent deployments, he told reporters from Lithuania. Ukrainian forces claim to have downed a Russian Athlon Avias A-1SM Furia in Nizhin area. Thanks to Aurora Intel for ID. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu confirmed on Monday that the Russian and Ukrainian foreign ministers will meet in Antalya on Thursday. This will mark the first meeting between the two since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began on February 24. Advisor to Office of President of Ukraine, negotiations with the Russian Federation. Third round, beginning at 16:00 Kyiv time. Delegation unchanged. Ukrainian Deputy Prime Minister, we demand Russia to immediately respond to the request for a ceasefire. 1 killed as Russian army opened fire on peaceful protesters in Novokakhovka of Kherson region. The government of the Russian Federation approved a list of unfriendly countries. It includes the United States, EU members, Britain, Ukraine, Japan and a number of others. Over 2,000 civilians were evacuated from Irpin this morning. According to the Germany Federal Ministry of the Interior, around 50,300 war refugees from Ukraine have been registered so far. However, the number of people entering the country could be higher because there are no border controls. Big protest against Russian occupation in Chaplinka of Kherson region. Chants go home. 2 civilians reportedly wounded earlier. The U.S. and other NATO member countries have so far sent Ukraine 17,000 anti-tank missiles and 2,000 Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, a senior U.S. official told at Jim Shuto. Irina Vereshchuk, a Ukrainian deputy prime minister, said Russia's proposal to evacuate Ukrainian citizens to Russian territory was ridiculous and cynical. Anti-Russian protest in Kherson.
Это Херсон, детка.
Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Слава Україні!
Death toll of Russian attack on Vinnytsia airport with cruise missiles raised to 9 dead, 5 of them, civilians. School 18 destroyed in Russian army shelling on Chernihiv, civil defense units looking for survivors under the rubble. Projectile hit a building of Aquarina Pool in Kharkiv last night. Putin lies and Ukrainians, our citizens, die. Anton Korinevich is representing Ukraine in the case against Russia at the UN's International Court of Justice (ICJ), asking for orders to Moscow to halt the invasion. Russian army hide military equipment at residential complex in Irpin, near Kyiv 603. World Food Programme, we seek to provide food to 3 to 5 million Ukrainians. Historical Slovo building was damaged in overnight attacks by Russian army on Kharkiv. Ukrainian armed forces report 2 Russian aircraft shot down at 20:30 and 21:10 near Kyiv. Derhachi, Kharkiv region, 3 civilians killed, 15 wounded. Explosion again audible in Kharkiv. Take cover now. Ukrainian armed forces report 2 Russian aircraft shot down at 20:30 and 21:10 near Kyiv. A column of smoke is seen in Rychitsa, near the river Dnieper. 4 fixed-wing aircraft, likely Belarusian, and 91 helicopters at Machulishchi Air Base in Belarus, yesterday 6 March 2022. The amount of helicopters, including 15 XMI-26, vastly exceed the size of the flagged Belarus Air Force, so they are likely Russian. Sending jets to backfill Polish jets, we are working through some pretty complicated logistics on that front, including how we would backfill, because returning new planes and transferring serious weapon systems often takes years to do from the United States. White House. As the Russians continue to get frustrated and slow down, they continue to rely more now on what we would call long-range fires per at Pentagon Press Sec. That use of long-range strikes versus Ukraine cities is causing more casualties to civilians, he adds. The U.S. envoy to the Security Council, an immediate cessation of hostilities is necessary to meet humanitarian needs. U.S. envoy to the United Nations, UNICEF has confirmed the killing of dozens of children, and we believe that the number is greater. U.S. ambassador to the Security Council, it is clear that Putin has a plan to destroy and terrorize Ukraine.